Hi and welcome again to the Roast Recap, a look back on this week's news. Now, if you are anything like the Roast's Spanish hacker bug, Rostonio Bagderas, you probably spend all your time surfing the web and unable to watch the show every single night. Thankfully, we've put together a special package of this week's essential stories. First, here is Mark Humphries with a collection of the week's headlines.
Anzac Day fundraising appeal will allow Australians to buy a pre-recorded minute of silence for $2.26. The unique campaign idea, which will raise funds for the Anzac appeal, has been questioned by some, but if you don't believe any Australian would pay $2.26 for a minute of silence, lest we forget we're the country that got Crazy Frog to number one. Number one in the charts. Who was really crazy, the frog or us? The Minute of Silence was recorded with more than 80 serving and former Australian Defence Force members and their families. I don't envy having to produce that session. Okay, everybody, recording in 3, 2, 1, hit it! Cut! I should have just stuck with those little badges. Seriously though, selling a minute of silence is quite a sweet idea, although if Game of Thrones is anything to go by, some Australians are going to be torrenting their silence this Anzac Day. Q&A, the TV adaptation of Australia's most annoying hashtag, last night featured Palmer United Party Senator-elect Jackie Lambie. The appearance gave us our first proper look at what we can expect from the new senator, and she stayed true to her policy of letting the background dictate her wardrobe decisions. Asked if she could be convinced to believe in climate change by a climate scientist, Lambie had this to say.
Well, of course I would, but right now I have half the scientists on this side and the other half on this side, so...
There's some Palmer United mathematics for you. 97% equals half. And when the topic of youth unemployment came up, she had a solution I don't think anyone saw coming.
If there was one thing that people have mentioned to me, and I'll say it straight down the line, it's opening up national service in our military again.
Yeah, she's talking to you, Mop Top. You want a job? Jackie's got a job for you. Bang, bang. And I reckon men like Mop Top are going to love the army. Just listen to how Jackie sells it.
So I did 10 years in the army, so I just say this to men. The men either get out of my way or just go through you.
She'll go right through you. She's the political equivalent of a bad curry. And she's just as opinionated when it comes to the government's plan for foreign investment.
I haven't had a chance to have a look at them. They're not easy to find.
Well, Tony knows someone who's been able to find it, but it's not like Jackie would have access to this person.
Sky Palmer's had a bit of a look at it and says there should be much tighter restrictions on Chinese investors.
Yeah, well, if that's what Clive Palmer said, he's seen it before the rest of us has, so I'll take Clive's word for that.
Take Clive's word for that is, of course, Palmer United policy. Now, it remains to be seen whether Jackie Lambie has won over voters with this appearance, but one thing's for sure, her gung-ho performance is sure to make great fodder for our yet-to-be critically acclaimed children's animated political cartoon, Lammy and the Brick.
It's Lammy and the Brick.
And Wang.
In Q&A Capers.
Oh!
Lammy, Palmosaurus is here to give you a lift to Q&A.
Wish me luck, you guys.
Brick.
You'll be great, just be yourself.
Palmosaurus, I'm nervous about Q&A tonight. How will I survive without my lucky yellow scarf?
With your lucky orange scarf, it will help you blend into the background so you don't get asked too many questions.
Oh.
Just go out there and be invisible.
Hello and welcome to Q&A. I'm your host, Pony Jones. Our first question tonight will be directed to Lammy.
Oh no, he's seen me.
Lammy, what do you think about politics?
Me?
Just be yourself.
No one's ever asked me what I think. But since you asked, reintroduce national service. Half of scientists don't even agree with climate change. I'll go right through you!
All right, and our next question is directed to Penny Wombat.
Jackie Lammy, there's a reason we haven't heard from her before.
I'll take that as a cartoon. For the roast, I'm Mark Humphrey.
Pony Jones is, of course, the ABC's highest paid broadcaster on 350,000 sugar cubes a year. This week also saw the Royals come to town, a trip paid for by the Royal We, as in us, Australians. We paid for it, all $2 million. And yet with Australian Republican support at an all-time low, it seemed like Republicans needed to communicate their message using a better tactic: fear.
They've spent their whole life living on government handouts. Generations of one family, all welfare dependent. Now they're passing their twisted cycle of dependency onto their children. In an exclusive report, we've uncovered the scammers taking millions of dollars of Australian taxpayers' hard-earned money and living a life of luxury.
My investigation has just uncovered discarded caviar, bouquets of flowers, and priceless diplomatic gifts. Our national treasures going straight to their trash. Do you think it's okay to be ripping off honest taxpayers? Why won't you answer me? Obviously guilty.
The world's biggest welfare queen ripping off Australian taxpayers. Tonight on Shit You Should Be Scared of.
Speaking of shit you should be scared of, vampire clowns. Scary stuff. But also Heartbleed, the internet bug that is more worrying to internet users than their mum walking in. Nick Richardson came in to explain how the bug worked. Now, the whole Heartbleed thing is extremely complicated.
Complicated, Tom! It's a piece of cake. A highly complicated piece of cake, like a croquembouche. But fear not, the answer lies in these cups that I've artfully tied together. Now, Tom, the internet works a lot like these cups, but with much more porn. You see, when you want to buy something online, you log on using your cup. Yep. Now I'll be the internet.
Okay, hello internet.
Hello, Tom.
I would like to buy one cow, please.
Cow? What the Okay, sure. Easy. I'll just need your credit card details, Tom.
Not a problem. I have a new card. 5136 2914 4613 4069.
Great. Okay, now your credit card number comes down the string and should come directly to me. But with this bug Heartbleed, someone could listen in on our conversation and steal your information. And suddenly our secure conversation becomes a 3 guys, 3 cups situation. And I don't know if you saw that video online, Tom, but it didn't really end well for those guys.
Yeah, right.
All those cups.
I'm recording these numbers and I may sell them later.
And that is Heartbleed and the internet, a Nikki production. Now time for a shopping spree, thanks to Uncle Moneybags Glasson.
Now, I don't know who that Uncle Moneybags Glasson guy is, but someone should tell him he's about to get screwed.
Too late!
Oh, Moneybags is a sucker. And finally to New South Wales, where Barry O'Farrell, the Premier formerly known as Premier Barry O'Farrell, has resigned. Like many of New South Wales politicians, he came undone thanks to those pesky do-gooders at the Independent Commission Against Corruption. We looked at how other pollies might avoid a similar fate. It's getting harder and harder for politicians to avoid the ire of ICAC. So what is an honest MP to do? Perhaps they can take inspiration from Russian drivers who've installed dashboard cameras en masse to protect themselves against dodgy claims. But can politicians ever really be sure they are on the right side of the ICAC line? Jazz Twemlow, can they?
They can, but only by reporting all gifts they receive or not accepting any gifts that could incriminate them in the future. If you see Santa Claus, you tell him to f off. That guy's a flying fat gift machine that could cost you your job. But let's focus on Australian politics. This is Macquarie Street, the spiritual home of New South Wales politics, while just around the corner from me is the physical home of New South Wales politics, the offices of the Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC, an acronym that both sounds like a laxative and makes politicians shit themselves. So what should future New South Wales premiers do to ensure they don't accidentally lose their jobs thanks to a seemingly innocent bottle of 55-year-old grapes?
Fruit basket?
Report it.
And these socks.
Yeah, report those too. You see, the answer is to keep one ICAC lawyer constantly in your presence to approve all your actions, decisions, and the gifts you receive. This coffee's from a lobbyist.
Oh!
No, don't touch it. Lobbyists only give gifts because they want something. They might expect a coffee's amount of political favour in return. It's also advised that you install a Russian dashboard cam onto your head to ensure you have a ceaselessly streaming record of your time in the top job. Additionally, just to be safe, become an ascetic monk, shunning all earthly possessions, making you completely incorruptible as you constantly prove your innocence by GoProing only your tattered loin pouch.
What?
Don't complain, it might smell bad, but it's better than shitting yourself in front of ICAC. And that's how you fix politics in New South Wales, Tom. And that or make it illegal for people with lots of money to be close to the people who write our laws.
All right, thank you, Jazz. And that was the week that was. We'll be back on Easter Monday with a brand new episode.
Whoa, really? Yeah. Not that much news happens on a public holiday. Well, unless someone kills that damn bunny who keeps hiding chocolate around my garden. I paid for that chocolate, you damn bunny! You don't hide it from me! Did you say good night?